Thank you, Joseph. And now we have some time for round robin, so if there's anything he really didn't get in to say, he can sneak back in again. It's kind of a little trick with our round robin evaluations. How about the rest of you? Have some more comments for Kurt's speech. Jim?
Yeah, Kurt, I thought your speech was just unbelievably well organized. You stepped through from having us understand what micro investing is. You gave us stories to demonstrate what it is, how easy it is. You helped us understand that it doesn't take a lot of money. You're just saying transfer that money that you're going to use for buying a coffee, 20 bucks, and put it into this micro place, and it'll help people on the other end. You gave stories that demonstrated that, which again for me, it brought me in. I said, yeah, this sounds pretty good. This is something maybe I want to do. As I thought about it, I said, I wonder how risky it is. Well, before the speech was over, you answered that. You gave us the risk profile. You said, yes, there is a risk for any investment, but we have not had any losses up to this point. So that was good. That helped me really say, okay, well, maybe I can write a check out and do this. The fact that you gave us a actual demonstration story of a lady who was living on this $2 a day, bought a cell phone. You would think, whoa, bought a cell phone and rented it out, and now she's got all of these users. It was brilliantly done. I just loved it. But when you concluded, you talked about personal satisfaction. I wanted you to add in on there also financial satisfaction. That's all I saw. It was excellent. Well done.
All right. Thank you, Jen. Henry?
Yeah. A couple of things. I think that I would advise you not to use the coffee as the example. Okay? And because people might relate it to very closely to what is on what they Google. There is that particular story about, I think her name is Musuto. I don't know. This is why I ask you if you got it from the internet. Because people tend to, once they feel that, oh, I saw that on the internet, there's a bit of a, they could be turned off.
I'm not sure what story you're talking about.
Okay, because I don't know. This is why I asked the question when I asked you there, because this particular, I remember Gopi Khalil doing exactly that in a speech contest with the 6 cups of coffee. Actually, the speech was 6 cups of coffee, and using the same, and I think her name was...
Kiva is his organization.
Kiva,
the Kiva. Which I think is a
you know what I'm talking about?
So it's just that example. I don't know if
the example, the same example was used. So this is why I know great minds. I know great minds think alike. You know, because I tell you, it's a very tough thing. Because I remember once when I did the Shire story. And although I did it in my own words and my own way, because people had read about it on the internet, they protested. So you don't want to get yourself into that kind of a situation. So make sure you research it and see if that, because I remember it because I worked with Gopi on the speech. So it was kind of the name of the person and everything was there, the whole concept. So that's my only suggestion.
Thanks, Henry.
Maybe the example is overused. Like, it is a good analogy, but we've heard it so many times that it has become a cliche.
Yeah.
But that's difficult. Like, it's a perfect example, so you need to find something less perfect to use just to be original.
Okay. I just have a couple of brief comments. I liked how you started with smile. I thought that you had, your facial expressions drew us in.
Absolutely.
And I liked how you use pauses to let your points sink in and give us a moment to think. Further along, I thought that it was a little quiet, so I want to hear more projection, especially when you're calling us to action and you're trying to rouse us up and make a pitch. And I would also like to see more smiling during that call to action, because it got very serious. And get us excited. and be like, yeah, I want to get involved in this.
Thank you, Heather. I actually wrote that down as well about the serious. I think, Kurt, you got into like the, I'm really passionate about this and I really want to convince you. And it's like you're not, that's your default position, is kind of a nice smile, but you ended up really pleading with us for a while, which I think made the point, maybe made people feel guilty. But you also want to be that nice person with a smile. So I would agree with that one. We had a point over here, Carlos?
I'm very interested in the topic. I'm a donor to Finca, which is a microfinance company, through the donation route. One of the things that would have helped me, just as a serious listener, would have been an invitation, if you have any questions about it, just can approach me afterwards. So invite people to talk about it more, because naturally all kinds of questions came up. You can only cover so much in 5 to 7, and that makes the message stronger. The goal was to portray with facts and emotion. I heard a lot of facts. As with other people, your delivery was not as enthusiastic and as emotional as it could have been. Didn't really detract from the value of the speech to me, but it's a stretch goal for you.
All right, and Properly, you had something too?
Yes, I did. Okay. I really like the way you gave your speech, and in fact, I think it's the best speech I've seen you give. And the point which I'd like to make was, I felt that I was a bit confused. You started with micro-investing, and I said, okay, this is something about investing, and then you moved over completely to helping people. And for a moment, I was confused till at the end, where I realized that you meant you invest as well as you help people as part of that. And then it struck me that probably there's a way you could have just made it so powerful and make it clear at the start to get the audience in. And one possible way to say it is probably, close your eyes and imagine you don't have any money, and just imagine you have $2. How are you going to spend your day? And get them in that position, and then move on to the other side and say, okay, now guess you are this person and you want to help this person. And you can make money and while doing that. And that basically gives you the whole context of what you are trying to build into.
I think that's exactly how it went, right? Isn't that exactly how the speech went?
Not to me.
Imagine what
he did mention investing, and then he went on microplace, and then he gave into examples of how it could help people. But somehow I couldn't. So for me, first it was like microplace, then became a place where you make donations, and it rather than donating to a cause where it can get used up in terms of expenses by other companies, it really goes to the people directly. Mm-hmm. And that's where my focus was. But then at the end I tied up, you're investing and you're gaining out of it. It's not just a pure donation, and you're really helping people. It took me some time.
So tying that together.
Yeah.
One maybe on that point is, one thing I thought was missing, and like Carlos said, there's probably more questions, but you didn't talk about like the interest rates or the amount of return that someone would get. And so maybe tying that in with the helping people might make that connection for people, that it's the giving money to someone who wouldn't have it, but then they repay it and you get an interest rate that's higher than today's crappy savings account, or something like that. Like if you could, you'd maybe be more persuasive financially as well as just the emotionally side of it.
But maybe we're an audience. Maybe as audience we're in it more for the charity aspect than for the financial aspect. So it's good that there's a low risk. It's good that there's a return, but it's not the selling point.
Right. Yeah, and I guess it depends on what you think the audience is going to relate to, which is kind of it's interesting. Were there any other from the audience? I had one more. There was one point you did something like this where you said, and that's the kind of impact you can make, and it devolved into, and for only $19.99 you can. It made me think of like the late night TV pitchman. So, which was different from your style throughout the rest of it. So maybe it got our attention, but just be careful of this, especially this type of gesture to me is very kind of showy, and it was a little incongruent with the rest of your speech, which was really based on the motion and our ideas.
Kurt, you used, there were several times where you use the connector word and. You were making 2 points and. So just to keep that down.